Sitaram, Namaste and welcome to our Sankhya Television's program, Female Focused. My name is Sherry Singh and thank you for joining us today on this very inspirational program as we sit with some of the strong women in our society. We hope that we are able to help the young females and even a young individual get inspired by some of the stories being shared on our program as we highlight different aspects of these women's lives, and it could be personal, academics, cultural. And one of the person that we have today on our set is the very versatile, very vibrant and very talented, melodious Miss Nirmala Sesnarayan. So Sitaram, Namaste and welcome. Sitaram.
Sitaram, Namaste, and thank you so much, Sherry, for having me.
Well, I'm glad you're able to join us today on set because you have been in the music spotlight, I should say, for local classical, for film songs, bhajans. Tell us, how did you get into this?
Well, I actually started singing when I was 4 years old. My uncle and my dad, they decided that they wanted to occupy my time, that a child should not just be going to school, that they should be into religion or into something extracurricular because it adds balance to life. And that is a philosophy I still hold very dear and I try to pass on to my students. So I was about 4 years old and my dad taught me my first bhajan and I started singing in temple. One day I don't really remember being scared or anything because it's a 4-year-old child innocence. Yeah. Yes, of course. So if daddy says you have to do this, you have to do it. And I just saw the mic pass in front of me and he's sitting behind the harmonium and I just have to sing and it was just from there it all started.
But then growing up, were you exposed to, you said in temple, but were you exposed to the other platforms to practice different songs?
Right. So at the age of 5, I started attending the Robert Village Hindu School, which is really where I believe my singing career is rooted. Every week you will learn a new bhajan, so you're excited to try this in temple. And it is there that I started the Bal Vikas festival and I sang in the local classical singing category. And from there, I participated in the competition, placed second in the local classical singing category, and of course won a scholarship to study music with Mangal Patisa at the age of 11, under whose tutelage I stayed for 10 years.
But tell us, how was that experience for you? Because he has already established, a very, very well-known name, and you're one of those gurus in the music industry.
So, firstly, at 11 years old, this is like a dream. You have no idea what's going on. And, but it was truly an honor. Like, why me? Of all the girls and all the people who sang at this, why me? And it's still a question I have no answer to, but I guess there was something he saw in me that could have been groomed, and I am so appreciative of him. He's truly a teacher. There are many people who are very versed in music, but they can't teach. But he is one of those who, well, he was a teacher by profession, so I guess he knew how to handle children. And he was really amazing. Strict, but wonderful. Like a real daddy,
But usually when you see him, he has this serious face about him. Was he always like that?
No, he was never serious. As a matter of fact, he was the most jolly man I ever knew. He was very loving. He would have all these pet names for his students. He was really that loving daddy who you do not get angry. You can't get him angry. You have to do your homework. You have to be on the ball. But he was just that loving figure who really molded you once he saw something special in you.
But then how were you able to apply that type of qualities then in your academics or any challenge that you would have faced?
So Guruji was actually someone who I always wanted to emulate. I mean, that is what a guru is. You want to be like your guru. Guruji actually started his musical studies at the age of 40 in India. and that's when he really started to play sitar fully and professionally. But he always remained true to his job and his career, which is what I saw, and I tried to find that balance in my life. So even though I'm a teacher, I still found the time to do my degree and my master's as he did, and of course still stay true to the musician and singer in me.
And being a female, what type of challenges you would have had in the music industry?
I think up to today, that is something I still face, because most of your musicians are males, and whilst they may have a lot of respect for you, they still think, is she right? Is she thinking the right thing? Because if a male comes and says that very same thing, they'll be like, okay, yeah, let's do it, So it's something I face on a regular basis, and it's something I've learned to accept,
right.
And I've learned to work around it. Other than that, I just think as a female growing up, they would always challenge you. Like, I feel male artists always have it easier, especially when it comes to certain art forms like local classical singing. I mean, I grew up in that, and then I branched off into everything else. And boy, girls had a hard time, like you really had to prove yourself. And eventually I was able to apply my Hindustani classical music to my local classical singing, which many of them probably didn't agree with. But I still stayed true to who I was, and I still do to today, I hope at least.
Who do you keep in your mind as being your biggest fan or your closest supporter for you going through those challenges?
Definitely my late dad. My dad was my first guru, my first music guru, my first academic guru, first everything. I mean, mom is there as the moral support. She'll stand firmly behind him. But he was really my first guru. And whenever there are times when I face challenges in the industry or I face any problems, I always think about what would he say to me in this situation, and that's how I get through it.
But how you pass these qualities on to your students? Because you did mention that you're a teacher.
Yeah. So one of the things I like to pass on to my students, and generally what I believe in, is holistic development. And that is one thing my father pushed without even knowing the term. My parents always believe in balance. So, okay, you want to be academic, you like music, you like sports, that's fine. But there's a time and place for everything. And sometimes I try to incorporate both into my lessons. I'm an English teacher, so anything can fall anywhere. Let's do a lesson today, a paragraph today on cricket, and the boys will go insane, or football, as guys like, and then the girls like music, and they like all kinds of fashion and whatever. But at the end of the day, it's about holistic development. So yes, you have to focus on your work, but of course you have to find the thing that keeps you sane, which is what music is for me.
And the female students, do you see some of these young female needing a lot of guidance?
Yeah, I think in today's society, girls face a lot of issues that we could not have even thought about. Those were things we saw in the movies. And just yesterday a student was sharing a personal issue with me, and I was totally taken by surprise. Like, you would see kids walking around and you have no idea what they're going through. So yes, to answer that question, they do need a lot of guidance. And as difficult as the job is, sometimes you really have to be the rock in these girls' lives. You have to show them that there is light at the end of this tunnel. And you just have to be there for them, somebody to listen to, and just show them, hey, I went through stuff too. It's not like I don't have problems. My dad was murdered. I understand. Like, I fully understand you have challenges, but it doesn't mean that you can't overcome them.
So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will continue our discussion with the very versatile Miss Nirmala Sesnarayan.
Downloading the Airlink TV app on your Android mobile phone or tab is easy. Simply visit the Google Play Store on your device, search for Airlink TV, download and install the app, use your credentials to log in, sit back and enjoy. Airlink Communications, home of great entertainment.
Sitarama, welcome back, and you're watching the program Female Focused right here on Sankhya Television, and we are with the very versatile Miss Nirmala Sesnarayan. The young people in your class, how it is that you're able to relate to them using music?
Okay, so I don't listen to the music that they listen to first off.
Because you would be more in the, film songs, the Indian film songs, and then with young people these days, they're more into probably the hip hop or the rap. So how you're able to,
Right, so we use the topic of music, but sometimes I use soca. I like to go local.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, so sometimes they need that they need to know Mrs. kind of like in the know. But what I recently tried with my class actually was I tried to show them kind of who I was, because for a long time I hid my identity. I hid who I really was. I was just the English teacher. I don't have, they never knew what other things were happening in my life until one day they saw me on a billboard for an ad for a concert, and I'm like, Miss, really? Like, why did you know? What?
So they didn't come in class and be like, Miss, I saw you.
No. Miss, I think I saw you on a billboard. And I'm like, where? Who? What? And I really tried to get out of it, but I couldn't. And then I decided, you know what? It's time to stop hiding really who I am, right. Because that aspect of me is also to serve a purpose. And what I tried recently with them was they were really noisy after lunch one day, and I decided to play some sitar music and make them close their eyes and go through a guided meditation with them. So imagine yourself in this forest and you're hearing this, and it totally calmed them. And they were like, Miss, where did you get that music from? And I was like, that is Rag Yaman. That's what I studied in when I was in high school and all of that. And I was trying to explain to them, and they're like, oh my God, So it worked for me. I got them to settle and I got to teach and everything. So that is one of the ways I incorporated music into my teaching.
Now, on the music side of things, we have, what's your favorite type?
I love all forms of Indian music, different songs for different times, but my favorite and my most expressive is bhajans, because I believe that is where I started. And also it really helps you to spiritually connect with yourself and your audience. So I think that's my favorite type.
Now, you did mention that your father was murdered. Is it that you would have used bhajans to help you overcome that challenge? How did you overcome it?
It was a long road. I could never fully say that you've overcome it. But in learning to accept it, initially, it was difficult to even find a way to learn how to accept it. But as time progressed, I believe music is the thing that centered me. And generally, yes, bhajans and getting more in touch with self is what would have propelled me into becoming who I am today.
Some of the performances that you do is also in film, and isn't that is just only in the weddings or religious functions or?
Well, my band, Nitya, our specialization is actually the Hindu wedding ceremony.
Okay.
So in which we do folk songs related to each part of the wedding, of course incorporating bhajans and film songs and tailoring it to suit the needs of the bride and groom. But we also do mehfils, birthday and anniversary celebrations. We do Islamic functions as well. So it's a cross-section of events that we do.
So on a day that you wake up and you're not feeling 100% down, what do you do to get you to that position to face a classroom?
Yoga. Yoga and...
special outfit.
No, I'm not one of those. Sometimes, if I have the time, I'll probably wear a special outfit to feel all perky and girly and everything. But really, I believe in centering self. So I might do some meditation. I may, one of the things that I do on a morning, I have to start my day with bhajans. So I have to listen to bhajans on my way to work. If I listen to anything else, it sets my tone off completely. But I need that first half hour of the drive for sure, bhajans, and then I could proceed into anything else because I feel like it fully centers me.
But I know you travel. How is that experience been for you?
Oh, traveling has been wonderful. One of the things I love to travel for is to see that audience reaction. Because in some places you go, people are starved for this kind of music. It's not
Some
like
of the some other places, would be like Florida,
yeah,
Guyana.
yes, Guyana, Suriname, Florida, Canada. I've done India. I haven't done that in a while. I've done the UK, Guadeloupe. Guadeloupe was interesting, a very South Indian experience. But one of the things I love, like I was saying earlier, is that the audience sometimes, they can be so starved. Yes, YouTube is there and you have everything at your fingertips, but seeing something live and experiencing it live is thoroughly different, you know. And the last time I visited Florida for a performance, I remember people coming up to me and say, you know, we listen to your music before we go to sleep, and it was so overwhelming. Like, I'm like, oh my God, you know, I didn't even think that people knew who I was. And that is what makes this whole thing, the gender bias, all the challenges, everything, those moments make this profession and this career so worth it.
Well, I could relate to it to an extent because, you know, there are viewers who are looking on Sankhya television and we may think, well, you know, yes, you may have some people looking at a particular time, but it's only when we go out there or the camera people are out on the field, like, hey, you know, I look at Sankhya, I fall asleep with Sankhya, so I could, you know, we get that kind of feedback as well too.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will continue our discussion here with Ms. Nirmala Sesnarayan.
Are you looking for the most Indian content at the most affordable price? Then switch to Airlink TV. Watch all of your favorite Indian movies, series and entertainment news. Simply download the Airlink TV app on your Amazon Fire Stick or Android mobile phone or tablet. Sign up at www.airlinkttt.net/freeness for your 14-day trial. After your trial, watch 50 channels for free. Packages start at $170 per month. Like us on Facebook or contact us at 612-LINK. That's 612-5465. Airlink Communications, home of great entertainment.
Titaram Namaste and welcome back to our program Female Focus right here on Sankhya Television. Don't forget, if you want to contact Sankhya TV, you can visit our website www.sankhyatv.com or you could contact our office at 225-2770. We are sitting here and speaking with Miss Nirmala Sesnarayan. Now I know there are some speakers that introduce you as Mrs. You know, but unfortunately at this point in time, I would say unfortunately. I think it's by choice.
Unfortunate?
I think it's by choice.
Yeah.
You know, tell us, you know, what is your view? Why some people might say you're waiting so long?
I believe that timing is everything. I also believe that I have a purpose in my music and in my career, rooted in who I am. And it's going to take somebody very strong to be on this journey. This is not an easy journey to be on. And I've often been told I'm very intimidating. Granted that I don't believe I am, but I've been told that. But honestly, everybody says that this is a stage in life. Honestly, I believe life progresses as it should. Nothing should be forced. And when the time is right and God sees me fit to be in that role, then I shall be. But in the meantime, I just have to do what I have to do.
But was it an easy road? Because, you know, you would have the moms who would be like, you know, when are you going to give me grandchildren? You know, when you...
You know, the funny thing is my parents were traditional, but they were never like that. So, you know, there's some traditional parents who would say, oh, you can't travel without me. I was 11 and on a plane to England by myself with a group of people to perform. Because my father always said he never wanted to keep me away from those opportunities because those are once in a lifetime opportunities. And he was right. You know, and so my mom, she would probably now kind of hint and say, yeah, well, maybe it's something you should think about, but there's no pressure because they fully understood that I was simply doing me. And like me, they believe timing is everything.
Have you ever at any point in time questioned, like, am I really supposed to be married by this time or anything? Because you'll have young girls will feel that pressure, one, but if they may be faced with a challenge and be like, they need some sort of support. Should I have been married and, I would not have faced this challenge before, kind of thing.
Yeah, so you see, before my dad died, he did have a conversation with me, right? So he's like, okay, you finished with your degree. You say you want to start your master's, that's fine. But maybe we should start thinking about things differently. And I said to him, listen, right? If you plan my wedding, I'll let you plan it, but I won't show up. And of course, he just wanted to see my reaction, right? And to all these young girls who are faced, and even to parents, and let's not just talk to the girls, let's talk to their parents too. We live in 2020. We live in the millennium. Like, there's so much more to life than simply settling down, whatever that means for traditional parents, right? Settling down can mean, hey, I could have my own house and my job and I can fully take care of myself. When I was 5 years old, my mother taught me the word independent. And she taught me to spell it. And I am the epitome of independence. Like, I could climb on a ladder and change bulbs and do all these crazy things. Granted, I can't change oil in my car. But I think if my dad was alive, I would have been able to. And there's no set rule. There is no set rule about, this Prince Charming is going to come into my life. Granted, if it happens and you meet the one and that's your path in life, that's your path in life. But do not let anyone force you. And parents, please do not force girls to get into a situation or a marriage where, because you think, this is how you grew up. I think that's like living in a box. And times for living in a box, like, just please open the box and let people explore their lives and live beyond. Granted, it's not always easy to do things on your own, take it from me, but I don't think it's the be-all and end-all of life.
Now, I know you have your mom, you spoke of your mom, your dad, and are there any other family members that you hold close to you?
Oh, well, I have one sister. Many people think that I am an only child. I have a younger sister who also sings. And if you see us, we are very opposite. But she too, she's also very independent and very rooted in herself and her ways and that kind of thing. And I hold her very dear to my heart. Granted, we don't sing together anymore as we used to. We're both on our separate paths. But still very much part of my life and who I am.
So the underlying message for relationships and marriage is timing.
Timing, yeah, timing is everything. I strongly believe that. No matter, I mean, you can't really, deviate from God's plan. I strongly believe that.
But then, going back a little bit, in terms of being in a situation, you ever think about, okay, is this what you're trying to show me? Or
I have thought about that many times. I have, but I've gotten to this stage where I'm very open about it. Like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I mean, prior to me having this conversation, I'd have said, okay, I have to achieve this before this happens. And then I'm like, okay, no, just be open about it. And if it has to happen, it has to happen. And if not, I'm pretty sure I'll know where I'm going.
Now, is this something that you also share with your students?
Oh, no. It hasn't come to that. Of course, there have been situations of teenage pregnancy and stuff where you have to share, like, come on, this is not everything that life is. Maybe you've grown up in a situation where you've seen that this is everything that, this is all you know. Mm-hmm. But what about getting your own job? What about being your own woman? Like, nobody's saying no, no to kids, but not now. Like, you yourself are a kid. I've had to deal with that very recently, like less than a year ago, and I had to have the conversation. Like, look at me. Yeah.
So you do share
Yeah.
some small aspect of it just to...
Yeah. Not with everybody, but when the
For me too.
situation arises, yeah.
Okay. And what else do you have to share with some of the young viewers? It could be males, it could be females as well too, viewing Sankhya television.
Young people, sometimes it may seem as though life has dealt you some really tough cards. And you're going to feel at several points like giving up. But honestly, giving up is not the answer. Those things happen in your life to make you stronger. And as cliche as that sounds, really, it is the truth. They make you stronger. They firmly ground you into who you were meant to be. So persevere. A lot of people like the easy way out. Sadly, life is not about taking the easy way out. It is a high road, and you've got to take it. You've got to go, like I always say, I love to use this term, I've dragged on my knees and elbows to get where I am. Everybody looks on and thinks, oh my God, this is so cool. You have this, you have your own band or whatever. It was never easy, especially as a woman. Nobody handed me anything. I had to fight and work for whatever I have. And that is in Trinidad, that's really lacking in our youthful society. Young people on the road there, they just want the easy way out. That's why we have a life of crime in this country. And we really need to get out of that mentality. And where does it start? At home. Not in school, at home.
Well, at least some of them are able to take a few points from our discussion today. And in terms of the motivation that you would get in all of these things, is it that these young people should look for someone to look up to, or should they find that little zen you talk about? What
I think spirituality is the key to life. And I think in schools we really need to foster spirituality, not religion. So just as I shared with you how I did the meditation, there were no Hindu kids in that class really, or probably one. And they all came from different backgrounds, but they were able to meet and understand from that one space, and they were able to center themselves in that one space using a spiritual technique. And I really think that the academics we teach, yes, they are important, but we really need to teach life skills, because life is about survival. And I really think that spirituality is the key to living this life.
Well, it's very nice that you're able to bring spirituality as being, one of the underlying things. Now, if you had to go back in time, what would you tell the 4-year-old Nirmala Sesnarayan?
If I had to go back in time and talk to that 4-year-old, I would tell her, it doesn't matter. It's okay. And it doesn't matter that your skin is dark. It doesn't matter that you're a little heavier than some people. It doesn't matter that your social status is not like others. You were meant for success. You were meant to persevere, and you can do it.
Well, that's a nice note to end off our interview today with Ms. Nirmala Sesnarayan. I want to thank you very much for joining us on set and sharing your experience, sharing your views, sharing a little laughter and a little motivation as well too. And, if there's anything else that you would like, feel free to always let us know. We could always share it on our Facebook page. And, thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much, Sherry, for having me. It was my pleasure.
So, Sitaram, you have been viewing Sankhya Television. We have had the pleasure of having the very versatile Ms. Nirmala Sesnarayan, and look for her on Facebook, or you can look for their band Nitya, and feel free, reach out to them if you have your programs. So you have been viewing Female Focused right here on Sankhya Television. I'm your host Sherry Singh, and don't forget that you can continue watching Sankhya Television for all your cultural, inspirational, spiritual programming. See you next time. Sitaram.